We spend decades raising our children within a protective shell of civilization. We provide them with an education, instill them with religious values, and teach them the social codes required to become good citizens. But as the child hits the threshold of youth, an internal shift occurs. The mind becomes stubborn, pushing back against those years of conditioning as biological imperatives begin to stir. A relentless, opposite-sex attraction takes hold of the mind. Despite all that cultural training, this biological desire begins to pursue us with a focus that our perceived sophistication cannot stop. This sequence, moving from the classroom to the uncontrollable pull of desire, is documented here as the entry point into a much larger cosmic trap. In this light, the intellect and moral codes we spend years building appear as a fragile surface layer, a coat of paint easily bypassed once the engine of biological drive starts to turn. This drive is best understood by looking at the natural world. Imagine two plants. One is a vibrant, fragrant flower, and the other a foul-smelling bloom. A golden honeybee is drawn instantly to the sweet perfume of the vibrant flower. At the same time, a bluebottle fly is drawn to the stench of the foul flower. As humans, we naturally judge this. We label the bee's flower as good or clean, and the fly's plant as gross or bad, based entirely on our own aesthetic preferences. But nature operates without these labels. As this diagram shows, whether it is the bee or the fly, the mechanical result is the same, the transfer of a particle that triggers a connection. The sweetness or the stench is irrelevant to the system. Nature only values the mechanical necessity of connection and the continuation that follows. This pollination is not a botanical quirk, it is a universal engine. Human romance and the mating dances of the animal kingdom are driven by this exact same machine. Existence requires a specific collision. Two distinct, opposing halves must come together to generate a new outcome. The text uses nama, mind, and rupa, matter, to describe opposing forces. They act as two distinct shapes locking together to keep reality in motion. This isn't a one-time event. Each collision triggers the next, forming an unbroken chain of cause and effect that sustains our world. Physical attraction, then, is more than a feeling. It is a fundamental law of physics, the force required to keep the universal machine running. This machine does not run on chance. It is governed by a rigid, unyielding set of natural laws. The chorus of our source document moves beyond simple biology to list the specific mechanics of this universal order. These are the niyamas, biological laws, psychological laws, and the laws of cause and effect function like these interlocking gears, moving in perfect, predictable synchronization. In a system this tightly regulated, every birth, every thought, and every action is the mechanical result of a prior cause. What we often call the universe is actually a strictly regulated machine of cause and effect that operates regardless of how we feel about it. This mechanical trap is vast. It spans from the absolute lowest depths of suffering to the highest, most refined planes of existence. Every conscious being, even those we might consider higher powers, is effectively stuck on this cosmic treadmill, bound by the same laws of action and reaction. We remain trapped because we believe our preferences are real. We spend lifetimes chasing sweet scents and fleeing foul stenches, never realizing that both reactions are simply the fuel that keeps the machine turning. From this perspective, existence is not an individual journey, but a repetitive cycle where every action generates the next reaction in an endless loop. You cannot change the physical laws of the machine. However, the text suggests that a conscious mind can learn to stop participating in them. The final two lines describe a clinical view of the world through the lens of cause and effect, a perspective that serves as the mechanism for extinguishing the fire of restless consciousness. By recognizing that our preferences are merely biological illusions, we can begin to detach from the desires that pull us back into the next cycle. Once the universe is seen as a blind mechanical engine, the mind can cool, allowing one to step off the wheel of existence forever.